Picture this, a dull, bare patch of soil in your yard. And now imagine it covered in a lush, vibrant carpet of green. The good news is you don't have to wait years for that transformation. With the right ground covers, you can turn an empty space into something beautiful in almost no time. In this video, I'll show you 9 of the fastest growing ground covers that will not only fill in those gaps, but also add instant charm to your garden. And trust me, you'll want to stick around until the very end, because number 1 is a real game changer most gardeners completely overlook. Hey there, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, I'm passionate about helping everyday gardeners like you create beautiful, thriving spaces without all the overwhelm. I've spent years testing different plants, experimenting with soil types, and learning what actually works to keep a garden looking its best with the least amount of stress. In today's video, I'm breaking down my top 9 picks for ground covers that grow fast, thrive in different conditions, and instantly transform any garden. Whether you're battling weeds, want to reduce lawn maintenance, or just need that wow factor, there's something here for you. And if you enjoy practical gardening tips that really work, go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any of my weekly garden guides. Now let's dive in. 9th on our list is a plant that's as cheerful as its name, Creeping Jenny. This little beauty is known for its vibrant golden green leaves that create a glowing carpet across the ground. If you've got bare patches that need a splash of life, Creeping Jenny will do the job quickly and with style. What makes it so great is not just how fast it spreads, but also how versatile it is. It's fantastic for smothering weeds, covering soil that tends to dry out, and even softening the edges around pathways, rock gardens, or garden ponds. That pop of color it brings can make an ordinary space look instantly brighter. Now, where does it thrive? Creeping Jenny is incredibly adaptable. It loves moist soil and can handle both full sun and partial shade. In sunnier spots, you'll get those bold golden tones. In the shade, it leans toward a cooler green, but still lush and full. It's hardy in many climates, from cooler regions to warmer zones, which makes it a go-to for gardeners across the map. As for growth speed, this plant really doesn't waste time. Once established, it spreads rapidly, creeping along the soil and filling in gaps within just one season. That's why it's a favorite for anyone who wants quick results without waiting years. Caring for Creeping Jenny is pretty simple. Keep the soil consistently moist, especially during dry spells, and trim it back if it starts to spread a little too far. It doesn't ask for much in terms of fertilizing, but a light feed in the spring can give it an extra boost. Here's a little bonus tip. Creeping Jenny pairs beautifully with taller plants or shrubs because it acts like a living mulch, locking in moisture and keeping weeds down. It's also excellent for erosion control on sloped areas. So what do you think? Would you try Creeping Jenny in your own garden? Drop a quick yes or no in the comments. I'd love to see what you think. Coming in at number 8 is a plant that feels like stepping onto a soft, living carpet, Irish moss. Despite the name, it's not actually a moss, but it certainly looks and feels like one. With its dense, cushiony texture and bright green color, Irish moss adds a magical fairy tale quality to any garden space. Why is it great? Well, first off, it's incredibly low-growing, hugging the ground tightly and creating a seamless mat of greenery. This makes it perfect for filling in gaps between stepping stones, around pathways, or in small garden nooks where grass just doesn't want to grow. On top of that, during the late spring and early summer, it produces tiny white star-shaped flowers that sparkle against the green backdrop. It's simple, delicate, but absolutely eye-catching. Where does Irish moss thrive best? It loves cooler climates and prefers partial shade, though it can handle some sun if the soil stays moist. It really shines in areas with well-drained, slightly acidic soil. If you live somewhere with milder summers, Irish moss can be your go-to ground cover all year round. As for growth speed, Irish moss is surprisingly quick once it gets established. You can expect it to spread evenly and knit together into a dense mat within a season or two, giving you that lush, finished look much faster than many other covers. When it comes to care, keep the soil moist, especially in hot or dry weather. Unlike some of the tougher ground covers, Irish moss doesn't like to dry out completely, so regular watering is key. You don't need to trim it much, though you can gently tidy it up if it starts to spill over onto paths. Fertilizing lightly in spring will keep its growth steady and its color vibrant. Here's a bonus tip. Irish moss looks incredible when planted between stone pavers because it not only fills the gaps but also softens the hard edges, creating a natural, polished look. It's also great for creating contrast with darker foliage plants or brightly colored flowers. So tell me, can you picture yourself walking barefoot on a soft bed of Irish moss in your own garden? Let me know in the comments because I think this one might be a dream choice for many of you. Number 7 on our list is Ajuga, also known as bugleweed, a ground cover that's as tough as it is beautiful. If you're after a plant that spreads quickly and brings a burst of rich color to your garden floor, Ajuga is one you'll want to consider. So why is Ajuga great? Unlike many green-only ground covers, this one stands out for its stunning foliage and flowers. Its leaves can range from deep green to bronze, even shades of purple depending on the variety. And just when you think that's enough, in late spring, Ajuga shoots up with vibrant blue or violet flower spikes that make the whole area come alive. It's a mix of toughness and elegance that most gardeners love. Where does it thrive? Ajuga is a versatile plant that does well in both full sun and partial shade, though it tends to prefer a little relief from the hottest afternoon sun. It's hardy in many regions and can handle different soil types, as long as the soil drains well. It's especially good for shady spots under trees where grass refuses to grow, but it looks just as striking in open beds and borders. Now let's talk growth speed. Ajuga spreads fast thanks to its runners that creep along the ground and root wherever they touch. Within a season or two, it can cover a large area, giving you quick results if you've got patches you want to fill in. Caring for Ajuga is easy. Once it's established, it's fairly low maintenance. Water it regularly during dry spells and trim back any runners if it starts to spread into places you don't want it. It's generally pest-resistant too, which is a big plus. A light feed in spring will keep the foliage looking bold and healthy. Here's a bonus tip. Ajuga is fantastic for erosion control on slopes, and because of its dense growth, it also helps suppress weeds naturally. If you plant it along garden edges or pathways, it creates a beautiful border effect that looks polished, but requires very little upkeep. So here's my question for you. Would you go for Ajuga's bold foliage and vibrant flowers in your garden? Or do you prefer a simpler all-green ground cover? Drop your thoughts below. I'd love to hear what you think. At number 6, we've got a ground cover that's been gaining huge popularity lately. Clover. For a long time, people thought of clover as just a weed in the lawn. But gardeners now see it for what it really is. A tough, fast-growing, and eco-friendly ground cover that can transform any yard. Why is clover so great? First off, it grows incredibly fast and creates a dense green carpet that crowds out weeds almost effortlessly. Even better, it's self-sustaining. Clover actually takes nitrogen from the air and feeds it back into the soil, which means your garden naturally gets healthier without you needing to fertilize as much. On top of that, it's soft to walk on, pet-friendly, and produces charming little white or pink flowers that attract pollinators like bees and butterflies. Where does clover thrive? Honestly, almost everywhere. It handles poor soil, survives droughts better than regular grass, and grows in both full sun and partial shade. That's why many homeowners are replacing parts of their lawns with clover. It's not just beautiful, it's also sustainable and low maintenance. As for growth speed, clover is one of the fastest on this list. Once it's seeded or planted, it establishes quickly and spreads out evenly, giving you a lush look in just a matter of weeks. Compared to grass, it requires less water and grows back faster after being walked on. Caring for clover is almost effortless. It doesn't need frequent mowing, though you can trim it lightly if you want a neat appearance. Watering is minimal once it's established, and you don't need to fertilize thanks to its nitrogen-fixing ability. It's also resilient against pests and diseases, which makes it a true set-and-forget kind of ground cover. Here's a bonus tip. If you're tired of constant lawn care, try mixing clover with your existing grass. It'll enrich the soil, reduce your fertilizer costs, and still give you that soft green lawn look. Plus, clover is gentle on pets' paws, making it perfect for families with dogs running around the yard. Now, I want to hear from you. Would you ever replace parts of your lawn with clover? Or do you prefer to keep it as a classic accent in the garden? Let me know in the comments, because clover might just be the low-maintenance solution you've been looking for. Halfway through our list, at number 5, we've got a hardy champion of ground covers, Sedum, often called stonecrop. This plant is a favorite among gardeners who want something that looks amazing but doesn't demand much attention. Why is Sedum great? It's a succulent, which means its thick, fleshy leaves store water. That makes it incredibly drought-tolerant and perfect for those spots in your yard where other plants struggle to survive. Depending on the variety, Sedum can offer a wide range of looks, from tiny, tight mats of grain to sprawling, ground-hugging spreads with colorful foliage. And when it flowers, you'll see clusters of star-shaped blooms in yellow, pink, or white that add even more beauty. Where does Sedum thrive? This plant loves the sun and does best in well-drained soil. It's perfect for rock gardens, borders, or those tricky areas with sandy or gravelly soil where not much else wants to grow. If you've got a hot, dry patch in your yard that nothing seems to fill, Sedum could be your answer. Now let's talk growth speed. While Sedum may not cover ground overnight like clover, once it takes root, it spreads steadily and thickly. The bonus is that once it's established, it will stay green and vibrant with very little care season after season. Caring for Sedum couldn't be easier. It barely needs water except during long dry spells when you might give it a light drink. Fertilizing isn't usually necessary. Too much, in fact, can harm it. Trimming is optional, but if it gets a bit too leggy, a quick snip will keep it neat. And because it's a succulent, it's not attractive to deer or rabbits, which makes it even more hassle-free. Here's a bonus tip. Sedum is fantastic for erosion control on slopes because of its thick mat-like growth. It also works beautifully in container gardens or as a filler in between stepping stones, giving you year-round greenery with pops of seasonal color. So what do you think? Would you try Sedum in those tough, dry spots of your yard? Or do you already grow it and love it? Share your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to hear how you'd use this low-maintenance beauty. At number 4, we've got a plant that's as practical as it is beautiful. Creeping thyme. This ground cover is a real multitasker. Not only does it spread quickly to create a soft, fragrant carpet, but it's also edible and loved by pollinators. Talk about checking all the boxes. So why is creeping thyme great? First off, it brings color, texture, and scent all in one. The tiny green leaves form a dense mat, and in the summer months, it bursts into bloom with clusters of pink, purple, or lavender flowers. The best part? Every time you brush against it, it releases a fresh, earthy fragrance that instantly makes your garden feel alive. Where does it thrive? Creeping thyme loves full sun and well-drained soil. It's especially perfect for hot, dry spots where grass refuses to grow. You'll often see it planted between stepping stones or as a border along garden paths. It's hardy, tough, and adapts well in many climates, making it a reliable choice no matter where you live. As for growth speed, creeping thyme spreads steadily and can cover bare soil in a season or two once established. It's not as aggressive as clover, but it fills in nicely without becoming invasive. Caring for it is refreshingly simple. Once it's rooted, creeping thyme is drought-tolerant and only needs occasional watering during prolonged dry spells. You don't have to mow it, and trimming is only necessary if you want to shape it or encourage fresh growth. Fertilizer? Barely needed. It thrives on neglect, which makes it a dream plant for busy gardeners. Here's a bonus tip. Creeping thyme doubles as a culinary herb. Snip a few sprigs to add flavor to roasted vegetables, soups, or meats. And because it attracts bees and butterflies, planting it near fruit and vegetable beds can actually help improve pollination. Now let me ask you, would you grow creeping thyme mainly for its looks, its fragrance, or the kitchen perks? Drop your answer in the I'm curious which matters most to you. Number 3 on our list is a true classic, Periwinkle, also known as Vinca minor. If you want a ground cover that's reliable, evergreen, and quick to establish, this one never disappoints. Why is Periwinkle so great? For starters, it's one of the toughest ground covers you can grow. Its glossy green leaves stay vibrant year-round, and in spring and early summer, it produces charming violet-blue flowers that spread across the ground like little jewels. Some varieties even give you white or lavender blooms, so there's a touch of variety to suit different tastes. Where does it thrive best? Periwinkle loves shady areas where grass struggles to grow, making it perfect for under trees, along fences, or in darker corners of your yard. Can handle partial sun too, but shade is really where it shines. It's hardy in many regions, which means it's dependable no matter where you live. Now about growth speed, periwinkle spreads fast. It sends out trailing stems that root wherever they touch the soil, covering large areas quickly and creating a dense weed-blocking carpet. If you're looking to fill in a big bare patch in less time, this is a go-to option. Caring for periwinkle is straightforward. It doesn't need much water once it's established, though you'll want to keep it moist during the first growing season. Trimming occasionally keeps it neat and prevents it from creeping too far. It's also resistant to most pests and diseases, which makes it a reliable, low-maintenance choice. Here's a bonus tip. Periwinkle is excellent for erosion control on slopes or uneven ground because its roots anchor firmly into the soil. It's also a favorite for creating a natural woodland look in shady garden spaces. So tell me, do you see yourself using periwinkle to brighten up those shady spots in your yard? Or would you use it more as a full-on lawn alternative? Share your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to hear how you'd use this classic ground cover. At number 2, we have a shade-loving champion, Pachysandra. This evergreen ground cover is a lifesaver for those tricky spots in your yard where grass simply won't grow. If you've got shady corners under trees or along walls that always look bare, Pachysandra can transform them into lush green carpets year-round. So why is Pachysandra so great? For starters, it's one of the toughest ground covers you can grow. Its glossy deep green leaves stay vibrant year-round, and in spring and early summer, it produces delicate white flower spikes that add a subtle touch of beauty to the greenery. It's not flashy, but it's elegant, reliable, and timeless. Where does it thrive best? Pachysandra loves partial to full shade and grows especially well in cooler, moist environments. It prefers rich, well-drained soil, but once it's established, it can adapt to different conditions. If you've been struggling with bare ground under mature trees, this plant is one of the best solutions you'll find. Now let's talk growth speed. Pachysandra spreads by runners, which means once it takes hold, it expands steadily and forms a thick carpet that blocks out weeds. It won't overrun your yard overnight, but give it a season or two and it'll cover large areas without much effort from you. Caring for Pachysandra is simple. Keep the soil moist while it's settling in, then reduce watering once it's established. It doesn't need much fertilizing, just a light feed in spring if you want to encourage extra growth. Trimming isn't necessary unless you want to keep it tidy, and it's resistant to deer and most pests. Here's a bonus tip. Pachysandra looks incredible when paired with hostas, ferns, or other shade-loving perennials. Together they create a layered, woodland-style garden that feels both natural and refined. Now I'd love to know, do you have a shady spot in your yard that could use some life? Drop a comment and tell me if Pachysandra might be the answer you've been looking for. And here we are, the number 1 ground cover on our list. This one isn't just fast-growing, it's absolutely breathtaking. Meet Dichondra Silver Falls, a plant that can take an ordinary garden and turn it into a showpiece almost overnight. Why does it deserve the top spot? Just look at it. The cascading silver-gray foliage glimmers in the sunlight, giving your yard a modern, elegant feel that few other ground covers can match. Unlike the typical greens, Silver Falls offers a striking contrast that instantly elevates your landscape design. Whether you plant it in the ground to creep across bare soil or let it spill gracefully from hanging baskets and containers, it always creates a wow factor. Where does it thrive? Dichondra loves the sun. It performs best in full sun with well-drained soil and can tolerate heat and drought better than many other ground covers. That makes it perfect for hot, sunny areas where softer plants might struggle. And while it loves warmth, it also adapts surprisingly well in different climates when given the right conditions. As for growth speed, Silver Falls doesn't hold back. It spreads quickly, covering ground with its trailing stems in just a season. In containers or raised beds, those silvery vines can cascade down 2, 3, even 4 feet, creating a dramatic waterfall effect that makes it the star of any garden. Caring for it is refreshingly easy. Once it's established, it requires very little watering thanks to its drought tolerance. Pruning is optional, but if you want to keep it compact, a light trim will do. Fertilizer? Just a light boost in the growing season helps keep those silver leaves lush and vibrant. Here's a bonus tip. Dichondra looks stunning when paired with darker plants like purple fountain grass or deep green evergreens. The contrast makes both plants pop, giving your garden a designer-quality look without the designer price tag. So now I've got to ask, can you imagine walking into your yard and seeing waves of silver foliage spilling across the ground or draping from a planter? Would you make silver falls the centerpiece of your garden makeover? Tell me in the comments, because I think this one could steal the show in any space. So there you have it, 9 fast-growing ground covers that can instantly transform your garden. From the golden glow of Creeping Jenny to the elegant cascade of Dichondra Silver Falls, each one brings something unique to the table. Some are perfect for shade, others for sun, but all of them will give you quick results and lasting beauty. Now I'd love to hear from you. Which of these would you plant first in your garden? Drop your pick down in the comments. And if you made it this far, type the words green thumb so I know you're part of our gardening family. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video and want more practical tips for creating a beautiful yard, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel. And if you're ready for even more inspiration, check out my next video on the best low-maintenance perennials. Pairs perfectly with the ground covers we talked about today. Until next time, happy gardening, and I'll see you in the next one.